What if I told you that by 2050 there's a chance that your club could be underwater? Chelsea, West Ham, Southampton and Norwich, just some of those faced with total or partial flooding, and that is just in the UK. Clubs in France, Germany, Belgium and Holland can all expect to be affected too.
The last comprehensive survey of grassroots football in the UK said that clubs lose 5 weeks of play per season due to bad weather, and over a third of those clubs lost 2 to 3 months of play.
Simply put, change has to happen, and it's got to happen quickly. The question is, how can football help save the climate before the climate seriously impacts football? Hello, I'm Sam Ashu and welcome to Football Now, a new show from Doha, bringing to light some of the biggest issues, challenges and debates within the global game. Today, we're starting with the climate crisis. It's well and truly the biggest challenge of our lifetime, how to save the planet. Now, with over 3 billion people having watched the last World Cup, football truly is the global game. But that comes with added environmental pressures. In fact, so much so that football contributes between 0.3 to 0.4% of the planet's global emissions. If that seems like a small number, it's actually a carbon footprint bigger than Barbados and roughly the same as Denmark. Now, 2018 will no doubt be remembered for the Russia World Cup. What you probably didn't know was that 60 to 70% of those emissions came from the 7.7 million fans travelling to and from the country for matches. Meanwhile, electricity boards and floodlights means that a football stadium consumes around 10,000 megawatt hours of electricity per year. Just to give you an idea into just how startling that is, the energy used during one match could power not one, not two, but 12 homes for an entire year. And as the planet gets hotter, the numbers will get bigger. So then, which players are getting behind the cause? Well, this is Morten Thorsby. He plays for Sampdoria in Italy's Serie A and recently launched his own non-for-profit organisation. It's called We Play Green.
I had an idea of creating a network of ambassadors, football players all over the world spreading the green message. So, I mean, sports is such a big part of society, so it has to take the social challenges very seriously.
Now, back to the stats then. Less than 5% of clubs in the top 5 European football leagues have signed up to the UN Sport for Climate Action Framework. Stay with me on this. That's a commitment to be net zero by 2050. Net zero means no carbon emissions are produced. You've no doubt heard the term carbon neutral as well. That means that emissions are produced but offset to ensure net zero status. Forest Green Rovers are the only club in the world to boast that accolade right now. Here's how they've done it.
We focus on 3 things primarily: energy, transport and food. 80% of everybody's personal carbon footprint is in those things, and the same applies to sports clubs as well. It's about how you power yourself, it's about how you travel, and it's about what you eat. So around the ground here, we've got solar panels on the stand over there. We bring wind energy in as well through the grid, so we're 100% powered by green energy. We've got charging points for electric cars at the front so our fans can come to a game and get home again. And we've got an entirely plant-based menu, food and drink. All food and drink at the club is plant-based. We've also got an organic pitch. That's a big issue. We don't use chemical pesticides and fertilizers, and we capture the rain that falls on the pitch from underneath and we use it again. The climate crisis is like the biggest threat that we face. It's like the pandemic on steroids. We've had our first ever amber heat warning in Britain in history. And if you look around the world, wildfires, droughts, all kinds of problems. Climate change is here. And we have to address that, all of us.
Now let's look at 2022 World Cup hosts Qatar. It's set to be the most expensive football tournament ever, but they're determined to make it the most sustainable yet as well. So how exactly do they plan on doing it?
So the Ras Al Baboot Stadium is one of a kind in the world. It's the only stadium that's been built with a demountable strategy in mind. And it's really neat to see that from when we were starting to design the stadium, demountability was already included in it. It's an impressive structure to see. For the first time in a World Cup, we have a very compact tournament. We don't have to fly between cities. and have more air travel. We don't have to take long distance trains. We have a metro that reaches most of our city. We have bus systems in place, and we have upgraded infrastructure to allow fast and easy transportation between all the stadiums.
So as we've seen today then, steps are being taken to make the game more globally friendly, but there clearly is still a long way to go, isn't there? More carbon neutral stadiums, more use of public transport is certainly a start. Where does the future lie for football and the climate crisis?
So I mean, the next 10 years is for me the period of action. We have to start to change and we have to take action now. And that's why I believe also now football and other sports can no longer hide. If football could move these people to live greener and to do better choices and to actually become engaged in the environmental and climate crisis, then actually football could make a huge difference.
So what do you think? Is football doing enough right now? Will your club be underwater by 2050? Do let us know what your thoughts are on football and climate change using the hashtag FootballNowClimate. We'll see you next time for more Football Now.